Hi, I'm Jack Greenwalt, and welcome to the latest literature version of Course Crash, where we follow the epic story of two young lovers in The Fault in Our Stars. Now we're to Yolani with more.
The Fault in Our Stars by John Green follows the story of Hazel Grace Lancaster, a 17-year-old with thyroid cancer that causes fluid to fill up her lungs. Her illness is terminal, and all they can do is try to extend her life as long as possible. She uses an oxygen tank to breathe. She's depressed and has no friends, so her mom sends her to a cancer support group with her friend Isaac. He had a tumor in his eye and it had to be removed. He's going to lose his other eye soon. At the support group, she meets Augustus Waters. Gus is in remission from osteosarcoma, and he falls in love with Hazel quickly and instantly begins pursuing her. They go on romantic adventures together as Gus tries to win Hazel's heart. Throughout their romance, Hazel is distant and tries not to love Gus. She tells him not to love her for fear that when she dies, her death will hurt him.
Hazel's favorite book is An Imperial Affliction by Peter Van Houten, which is basically about this girl named Anna who has cancer. The book ends mid-sentence, which frustrates Hazel because she could never find closure about the ending of her favorite book. After Gus reads the book, he takes a quick liking to it, and he uses his Make-A-Wish grant to take her to Amsterdam to meet her favorite author, Peter Van Houten, and discover the ending. When they get to Amsterdam, Peter Van Houten is a jerk and hurts her feelings, so instead they tour the city and have a little fun. Hazel admits to herself that she loves Gus. He then tells her that he is dying and loses his confidence.
Throughout the story, there are a number of characters with very interesting characteristics and traits. Hazel's character evolves throughout the novel. She goes from being depressed and closed off to enjoying life. Instead of waiting for death and fearing it, she decides to live her life and enjoy whatever time she has left. Gus teaches Hazel to accept reality and embrace the inevitable. His wit, humor, and romantic gestures woo her and help her overcome her depression. He lost his right leg due to osteosarcoma and was a basketball player. He wants to leave his mark on the world. Both Gus and Hazel fear reality after death. Isaac is a mutual friend of Hazel and Gus, who is introduced into the story from the support group. Isaac often embodies skepticism and rage. He has one real eye and one glass eye, and his girlfriend Monica dumps him when she finds out that he would go entirely blind. He is described as long-faced and skinny with long blonde hair. Mr. Lancaster and Mrs. Lancaster, Hazel's mother and father, are both emotionally strong and kind in accepting Hazel's conditions. Hazel's father only understands Hazel's cancer broadly and spends much of his time at work. Hazel, in the end, is overjoyed to learn that her mother has secretly been taking classes to become a social worker. Peter Van Houten, the infamous author that made An Imperial Affliction, Hazel learns that he is a very drunk and insane man who deflects emotion with laws of cruelty. He later ends up coming to Gus's funeral, thus showing a silent kindness and careless personality.
The novel has many themes, one of which is that without pain you can never really experience joy. All the characters in the novel suffer, whether it's physically or emotionally. Peter Van Houten grieves the death of his daughter, Hazel has to deal with being in the emergency room because of the fluid in her lungs, Augustus has one leg and is on intense cancer treatment, Isaac goes blind and his girlfriend dumps him because he's blind, and the Lancasters feel the death of Hazel. Everyone in the novel suffers at some point in time, but throughout the novel, Hazel comes to the realization that while they may suffer, it is how they cope with their pain that defines them. At first, Hazel doesn't want anyone to become emotionally attached to her, for fear that her death will hurt them. She learns to enjoy what she has before it's gone. Pain and suffering are inevitable, and without some pain, you can never feel joy. Throughout the novel, Hazel and Gus fear oblivion. Gus is obsessed with leaving his mark on the world so that he isn't forgotten after he dies. And Hazel is afraid of what would happen to her family after she dies. Instead of thinking about how her family will carry on without her, she obsesses over Anna and An Imperial Affliction, and she tries to find out what happens to Anna's family after Anna dies. Hazel later accepts the fact that after she dies, she will have to trust that her parents will continue being who they are. That's why she's really excited when her mom becomes a social worker. Gus accepts the fact that his mark he left on the world was left on those who loved him. He learned that he didn't need to be a hero, he only needed to love people and be loved by people. The novel also acknowledges the fact that terminal illnesses are brutal and affect normal people. It talks about how the world is harsh, and while you may not always get what you want, there are some beautiful things in life that you need to enjoy. The novel teaches the reader to embrace the good and the bad in life.